So that's the minority leader, Alexander Fenyomaki. He's made some very serious allegations. He talks about the fact that the chaps who went there had earrings. I mean, that's what he's alleging. And then also they stole 10,000 cedis and some jewelry. What do you make of this?
Thank you, Moro. I'm very worried about these developments coming from the backdrop of the earlier raid that occasioned the residents of Kenufuriata. And the rationale behind some of these raids and the outcomes out of it and the information we get to receive. So the central bank governor has just left office. I think even per his contract is supposed to end this end of March. And then you have this kind of raid in his his private residence. The concern is what exactly is leading to these things. No information has been put out there with regards to the kind of investigation the state apparatus are after. Even after the exercise, nobody has given us a brief as to exactly what they had gone there to do. If you go into the residence of a former governor at 5 a.m., and your first question you're asking the person is to show you the vault of where he keeps his money, and then post the exercise, it is not a search for either some investigations into some criminality or a claim that the person has stolen money from the central bank, but trying to look for whether the person has kept money in his...
apparently, in the case of Dr. Enes Addison, I heard Justice Shremsai say that he was aware that he was being investigated. So it wasn't something that just came out of the blue. So he knew he was being investigated, but he had been spoken to.
You know, my concern is if you are investigating someone like the governor of the Bank of Ghana, like we expressed in the case of Kenufuriata, what evidence is it that you want that the person cannot be invited to make available to you? What are the preliminary charges that you want to investigate the person upon, for which we need to go to this extent of raiding the residence of those people? And so it's becoming much more like the government, for better choice of word, trying to either witch hunt or trying to intimidate. I find it very, very worrying, because at the end of the day, this person has served as a governor. As I indicated, you've not told us as Ghanaians the investigations that you are conducting. You go to his private residence, you destroy his CCTV cameras. Why would you destroy his cameras? What are you trying to avoid? What are you going to do that you don't want us as Ghanaians or the person to review and come to terms with in terms of the exercise you came to do in his private residence? And then at the end of the day, you find some money, allegedly 10,000. I don't know whether it is cedis or dollars. Initially they said it's dollars. Now they're saying 10,000 cedis. And what's next? And so I think this whole practice by the government to use this kind of security, and you know, Parliament just received communication from the President that the Minister for Interior would be added the responsibility as National Security Minister. And so in such instances where these raids are conducted by the National Security or NIB, you expect the minister in charge of national security to be out there to give us some context, some details. And I find the statement by the Deputy Attorney General very disingenuous, Because in the case of Ken Ofori-Attah's raid, nobody told us that they had a warrant. Upon all the discussions, even the leader of government business, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, came to the floor of the House and indicated to us that the national security operatives did not go there with warrant. Now, how many weeks down the line, the Deputy Attorney General is justifying the raid of the central bank and is adding to it that the raid that occurred at the residence of Ken Ofori-Attah, the people who went there went with a warrant. So who is telling us the truth? And these are the things that brings credibility, places some lack of credibility on the government. And I think His Excellency the President should be mindful of some of these things.
Now, in relation to the matter you raised about tampering with the CCTV system, so there's an anonymous texter who has sent me some information, and I want to share that with you so that perhaps it would enrich the conversation. Now, he says, we're told, first of all, he says good morning and says hello to everybody. He says, we're told an image was circulated showing Addison's CCTV system being dismantled with its hard drive taken away. Some have tried to spin this as evidence of foul play. But we now understand the hard drive was seized to be reviewed. What is unfair or illegitimate about that? When President Nixon had tapes in the Oval Office, prosecutors were immediately interested. It's standard procedure. If investigators find a recording system during the search, of course they will secure it. It's evidence, basic law enforcement practice. So yes. That's the person's, some information from an anonymous texter.
He's right. If you're conducting an investigation and you think those information will be relevant for the purpose of your investigations, why not? But the contention here is that we've come from a past where the previous governments, when they left office, certain invitations were extended to some government functionaries. Some residents of ministers of state were invaded. Honorable John Jinapo indicated this some time ago in the House of Parliament. And so, is it a culture where we want to create that after a change of government, every new government would have to use such raids as forms of gathering evidence, for their investigative purpose? I think there are several ways that we can conduct our exercises in investigation without bringing up these barbaric, crude methodology in our investigative process.
Okay.
And so when you send 15 armed men to a house of about, you don't know, maybe if there are 4 or 5 or so unarmed people, and then you begin by destroying their property, when the Constitution clearly gives someone a right to privacy, a right to his property.
Okay.
And then you go in there with a warrant to go and search, and you end up destroying his property, you end up stealing from his, the necklace and other jewelry of the wife allegedly have been stolen by the team that conducted those exercises. Now you've disabled the CCTV.
But you know what surprises me?
Yes.
In all of this, why is Addison quiet?
Why should he talk? He's still in shock.
He doesn't have lawyers?
No, they will come to that. He will definitely.
Because until Afenyomakin went to his house,
yes,
I don't think any of us would have even known such a thing had happened to him.
Yes.
And then Afenyomakin, who goes to his house, comes out and tells us that
yes,
the man's jewelry and money has been stolen.
Yes.
But that's his side of the story.
That's correct.
Now, are we supposed to take what Afenyomakin has told all of us as hook, line, and sinker? Is that what we're supposed to do?
No.
And it is because of how emphatic we're sounding with this whole allegation of so and so stuff have been taken from the house. And we're not even saying allegedly or supposedly. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
But apart from that, when Dr. Addison was appointed as the central bank governor, we're all made to believe that this is a man who is not necessarily an MPP person.
That's correct.
He's a technocrat who's been brought there to do the job, which is actually in line with the laws of the country.
That's correct.
Why then is the MPP taking it upon itself?
Yes.
To fight for Dr. Enes Addison?
Yes.
Is that to suggest that it was his appointment to the central bank was more of a partisan one, and he was perhaps serving the interests of the party?
No, I don't.
As some have suggested.
No, I don't think so. I think first and foremost, like you indicated, he would definitely have the advice of his lawyers to take action against the security operatives that invaded his house. Once it came to the attention of the minority leader, it behoved on him to pay him a visit, not only because the minority, he served as governor under the reign of MPP, but for whatever reason I would not know, the minority leader got the information and visited him and brought out these details from the conversations he had. Now, this information has been put out there. It has not been counted, discounted by any other person. You know, we've had an instance where the current governor of Bank of Ghana was prosecuted by the MPP government.
Yeah.
You know, he was in court. And then when power changed, the Attorney General, one of his first cases he was interested in was to enter withdrawal and only prosecutor to get him out of the charges against him. And then days later, 2 days or so later, he was made the governor of the Bank of Ghana by the party that has just come into power. So is it a trend that we bring in governors to come and serve a political cause? I don't know.
Okay.
But clearly you can see from some of these things.
Okay.
And I don't think that this practice of invasion, showing power, and then the gentleman involved, Richard Japa, you know, this country, I don't know how serious we want to be. We have national security as a body corporate. We have NIB with so many professionals in there. So if Japa doesn't lead a raid, can't national security operate?
But he's the director of operations.
Come on. And these are some of the things we do and discredit our security agencies.
Yeah.
The person was under trial as well. The Attorney General enters withdrawal and only prosecutor. From his cross-examination and the rest in court, he was dismissed from the military, even as a young soldier. And just when power shifts, he becomes the director or deputy director of operations at national security. Are we serious, man?
So Neil Van der Poel has a message for you before I bring in a license winning. So Neil Van der Poel says, hello, Mr. Moro. He says, please respectfully tell our brother that in the intelligence operations of that nature, the CCTV is very key to the investigation.
Yes.
The NIB is very key. The NIB would have to know all activities that have taken place within the premises within a period.
That's correct.
What about if there has been movement of certain things prior to the arrival of the personnel?
No problem.
Tell him that I'm saying that he should stop saying what he's saying. He has no idea what some of us went through in 2017 when the MPP took over. Was he in this country in 2001 and 2017? He said you've lost the moral right to complain. Anyway, so
is it a payback time?
Well, from what you said,
and this is where we do.
The only thing I read was
so if you go through that, and that experience was not pleasant, and you thought it wasn't right, and as I have said, we have John Jinapo and others all complaining of same. We are not countenancing wrongdoing. Okay, so if there is evidence or they are conducting investigation, you can go ahead and do the investigation. But my point is, the modus operandi we used to do these things are archaic and barbaric. It doesn't conform to contemporary times. It doesn't conform to modern ways of investigations. So we should move away from it. You can go to the person's residence, even President Trump. Didn't the FBI go to his house to recover information? Biden, haven't they all been visited? So it's nothing new. But when we do these things, and tomorrow similar things are being done to us, let's not come back and play the ostrich. So for now, Let them go ahead and do their investigations. I'm all for it.
Okay.
Beyond them, if they have even more people they want to go and raid, and they should go ahead and do that.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, posterity is here to judge all of us.